Well, the PM has called him an arrogant billionaire. Elon Musk has accused Australia of trying to control the entire internet. The pair locked in a very public feud that's heating up. But can Australia win?
We'll do what's necessary to take on this arrogant billionaire who thinks he's above the law.
The gloves are off.
This is a bloke who's chosen ego and showing violence over common sense.
As the showdown between the PM and Elon Musk heats up, the tech billionaire overnight tweeting taunt.
I'd like to take a moment to thank the PM for informing the public that this platform is the only truthful one.
After taunt.
Don't take my word for it, just ask the Australian PM.
The war of words sparked by a federal court ruling ordering X pull graphic content of last week's Sydney church stabbing from the social media platform worldwide.
This billionaire is fighting for the right to sow division and to show violent videos.
Musk's beef began with Australia's internet watchdog, the e-Safety Commissioner, who ordered X and Meta to take down the videos over the weekend.
The other social media platforms all complied without complaint.
But X said nope, claiming that blocking the videos inside Australia only goes far enough.
Should the e-Safety Commissar, an unelected official in Australia, have authority over all countries on Earth?
Musk's response to this is that there is freedom of speech implications. It's a depiction of violence. It isn't a freedom of speech issue.
Our concern is that if any country is allowed to censor content for all countries, then what is to stop any country from controlling the entire internet?
Amid rare political unity,
He's a social media knob with
egotistical billionaire.
It's a completely ridiculous and preposterous.
narcissistic cowboy.
the government is vowing to do whatever it takes.
This isn't about censorship, it's about common sense and common decency, and Elon Musk should show some.
But the fight is far from over. The judge's takedown order is only temporary. The case set to return to the courts on Wednesday.
My guess is it's probably advisable to move on to the next topic with the Albanese government because you're not going to win against Elon Musk.
Barrister and political commentator Greg Barnes is here to give us his take on the takedown order. Greg, Elon Musk is saying that this is about freedom of speech. Does he have a point?
Well, look, he has a point in all these matters are about freedom of speech, but this one's about the limits on freedom of speech and about expectations of the community. And you have to weigh up also the question of what damage is done when it comes to freedom of speech. It's not always about absolutes.
What about, I want to return to that point actually in a sec, but the other limb to this is he's arguing, how does an Australian court have the right to block content worldwide? I find this a really interesting question. Does he have a point there? Does the Australian court have that power?
Well, it's always difficult for Australian courts because it relies on the cooperation of other countries to register those orders. In this particular case, the judge was persuaded to do that. The question of how that's going to work, I think, is always difficult. And also, you've got that other issue of extraterritorial reach. You know, does legislation reach into US companies? So this is a complex matter, and it's one that's going to get played out, no doubt, in this case.
You're a lawyer, you've acted in many cases. Assuming they can all pay your fees, who would you rather be representing in this case?
Oh, I know.
Well,
not philosophically, by the way.
There's a principle at the bar called the cab rank principle.
I'm not going to let you get away with this legalese, Greg. No. I'm asking your preference. If you had to choose which one to represent, and not philosophically, just which case you'd rather be arguing as far as success goes, which one would you choose?
Well, if you put it like that and you're not asking me to choose which brief I'd take, I think the Australian government legislation is fairly robust, but we haven't seen it fully tested. And this will be fully tested by Elon Musk because, you know, this is a philosophical issue for him. We've seen him do it in other jurisdictions. I think it'd be a brave person to say which way it's going to go. But certainly the other important point is this legislation has bipartisan support. There are other regulators who have similar sorts of powers, so it's not as though these are novel powers.
All right.
Elon Musk.
No, I think he thinks the legislation's powerful and it's got enough political support. That
Are you just hedging your bets, Greg, because you're more likely to get work from the Australian government in the future than you are from Elon Musk?
I can indicate now, I don't think I've ever had a brief from the Australian government, but of course the ethics of the profession means that if I was offered one, I'd accept it.
Yeah. Well, they might be coming your way now, mate. They really might. Hey, let's go back to the free speech issue and let's talk about the philosophical dimensions of it. So whatever the law says aside, do you think Elon Musk should be allowed to leave content like this on his platform?
Well, no, because I think this sort of content is really dangerous. I mean, I can tell you as a lawyer, it is of concern that often you see really violent events on various social media platforms, and you have clients who've seen it and then decide, for example, to take it into their own hands to do something about it. So it is a problematic issue.
OK, Greg, thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.